Women don't care what you do for them. They are loyal to one thing only. And if you've ever sat alone replaying everything you gave, everything you sacrificed, everything you poured into someone who barely blinked while walking away, then you already know exactly what that one thing is. Maybe this feels familiar. You showed up. You tried. You stayed consistent. You thought that if you loved harder, if you proved your worth, if you became her safe place, she would choose you. But instead, you're left wondering why the man who did less mattered more. If this is you, you've probably been asking the same painful questions on repeat. What did I do wrong? Why wasn't what I gave enough? How can she forget everything we went through like it meant nothing? And deep down, there's this quiet voice you don't admit to anyone. I thought loyalty was earned, so why did she give it to someone who didn't earn anything? Maybe you feel that sting when effort doesn't matter, when devotion doesn't matter, when everything you did is invisible. And she only responds to one thing you didn't know how to give. If this is you, breathe. Because the truth is harsher than you expect, but clearer than you think. So let me ask you this. What is the one thing a woman is actually loyal to that has nothing to do with what you've done for her? Most men misunderstand this entire situation because they've been taught their whole lives that loyalty is something you earn by giving more, doing more, proving more. And that's the trap. You try harder, and she pulls further away. Not because you're weak or unworthy, but because you're operating from a belief that doesn't match how attraction actually works. Calm down for a second and really sit with this. Women aren't loyal to what you do for them. They're loyal to how they feel around you. That feeling doesn't come from effort. It comes from presence, certainty, emotional leadership. And this is where most men lose themselves. They start fixing, pleasing, convincing, chasing, all while quietly abandoning the one thing that creates genuine loyalty, their own masculine center. A core masculine principle most men never hear is simple. Your value isn't in what you provide externally. It's in who you are internally. When you disconnect from that, you stop being the man she was drawn to in the first place. She doesn't drift because you didn't give enough. She drifts because you stop being grounded, self-directed, and emotionally unshakable. When a man loses his center, he thinks effort will replace it. But a woman can feel the difference instantly. That's why so many men look back confused, thinking after everything I did. How could she leave? Because she wasn't following your effort. She was following your energy. And once you understand that, everything about this starts to make sense. He remembers the sound first, that quiet click of the door closing behind her, soft, almost polite, but final. The room didn't change, but everything inside him did. His jacket still hung over the chair. Her half-finished tea was still warm on the table. But the space between those objects felt hollow, like even the air had decided to leave with her. He sits down slowly, palms pressed together, breathing through the weight in his chest. After everything I did, after everything I gave, how was that not enough? The question echoes louder than her footsteps ever did. He can still picture the nights he drove across the city just to make her feel better, the mornings. He stayed a little longer so she wasn't alone, the way he bent pieces of himself just to keep the peace. He thought love was built out of actions, sacrifices, proof. He thought loyalty grew out of effort. But now the silence is teaching him something else. He remembers the way she looked at him in the final weeks, not angry, not grateful, not moved, just distant, like she was searching for something in him she could no longer find. And he felt it too, even though he kept pretending he didn't. A shift in her eyes, a softness replaced by calculation. Her body was there, but her heart was already walking away. What did I miss? He whispers to the empty room. And then it hits him, not like a punch, but like a slow, heavy truth settling into place. She wasn't responding to what he did. She never was. All those actions, they were just noise. She was responding to something deeper, something he didn't even realize he had lost along the way. His sense of self, his grounded presence, the calm strength he used to carry without thinking. He sees it clearly now. She didn't leave because he didn't give enough. She left because somewhere in the process of giving, he stopped being the man she was loyal to in the first place. A sharp breath pulls through him as the truth settles. Not painful, not angry, just real. He looks around the room one more time, the silence thick but honest, and for the first time he asks himself the question he should have asked long before she walked out the door. What was she truly loyal to that I abandoned without even knowing? A lot of men walk into relationships carrying beliefs that were handed to them, not chosen. And the first one is this: if I give her everything, she'll stay. It sounds noble, it feels right, but it's a lie that quietly drains your strength. Because giving without grounding yourself doesn't create loyalty. It creates imbalance. She stops feeling your presence and starts feeling your need. Not because you're weak, but because you're trying to earn something that attraction never asked you to earn. A second belief is just as dangerous. If she leaves, it means I wasn't enough. No. Most men don't lose women because they failed. They lose women because they started drifting away from their own center. The more you tried to hold onto her, the more you slipped out of alignment with the man she was drawn to. You're not being shamed. You're being woken up. There's a difference. You're not losing women because you didn't to do the right things. You're losing them because you stopped being the right man. Sometimes a shift this small rewrites everything you thought you knew. She didn't ghost you. You disappeared from yourself. You didn't lose her. You lost your center, and she followed the shift the 3% man moves through the same situations every other man faces. The pullbacks, the mixed signals, the moments where she's hot one day and distant the next, but he interprets them differently. He doesn't personalize her shifts. He doesn't panic when her energy changes, and he never believes his value is measured by how much he does for her. This is what he understands. He knows a woman isn't loyal to his effort. She's loyal to the feeling she gets when she's around him, a feeling of certainty, stability, emotional leadership, not control, leadership. He stays connected to himself first, and because of that, she naturally feels connected to him. This is the mindset shift. Instead of thinking, how do I keep her? He thinks, how do I stay aligned with who I am no matter what she does? Most men tie their worth to her reactions. The 3% man ties his worth to his identity. He understands that her loyalty is not a reward for his sacrifices. It's a response to his groundedness. This is how he leads with presence, not pressure. He doesn't chase reassurance. He is reassurance. He doesn't try to impress her. He stays impressed with his own direction in life. He doesn't contort himself to fit her emotional storms. He stands still long enough for her to calm down and feel safe again. The 3% man doesn't demand loyalty. He inspires it, not by being perfect, not by doing more, but by being a man who never abandons himself. It happens in a moment so small he almost misses it, a breath between thoughts, a pause between memories. He's sitting alone, replaying the same scenes he's replayed 1,000 times. The nights he showed up, the promises he kept, the quiet ways he tried to hold everything together. But this time, something inside him refuses to follow the script. He feels a flicker, not anger, not sadness, something cleaner, a clarity rising from somewhere deep, like a steady flame he forgot he ever had. He suddenly sees it. He wasn't hurting because she didn't value what he did. He was hurting because he didn't value who he was without the doing. The realization lands softly but with weight, like truth finally coming home. He remembers moments from before he ever met her, times when he moved through life with a quiet confidence, not trying to impress anyone, not bending himself for approval. He remembers the man who once trusted his instincts, who walked with purpose, who didn't chase, because he didn't need to. It hits him with a strange, peaceful sadness somewhere along the way. I forgot that I was already enough. He exhales, slow and deliberate, and it feels like releasing something he carried too long. For the first time, he isn't waiting for her to call, to explain, to come back, to validate anything. He's not looking at the door, he's looking inward. And what he sees is someone worth choosing, even if she didn't. The room is still quiet, but the silence feels different now. It's not empty, it's honest. He sits a little straighter. His breath deepens, and one simple truth settles into him like a returning heartbeat. She wasn't loyal to what you did, but now you remember the one person you must always stay loyal to, yourself. The moment you stop abandoning yourself is the moment you realize her loyalty was never the one you needed to survive.